On October 31st, Halloween, I busted my ankle pretty bad. I was sprinting down a hill, planted it wrong, and rolled it. And then I continued to hobble around on it instead of icing it. I did a full video on exactly how I did this. Just look up Nick Wright, busted ankle. So in that video you saw a photo of it when it had first become messed up and it was swollen to the size of a softball. It was pretty bad. I was off my feet literally for the entire weekend and didn't think I'd be back in the gym. However, over the course of the weekend, I took pretty good care of it and I've been utilizing it as much as I can instead of babying it, and I can actually hobble around on it now if I'm taking small steps. Of course, I do use my crutches now whenever I need to take large strides or go anywhere significant, like if I need to leave the house or if I need to walk around a lot. But it's healthy enough where I can take baby weight steps on it now, and it can support itself pretty well if it's wrapped up nicely. I can wear shoes, although wearing shoes for a long period of time can make my foot start to ache a little bit. Because of all the fluid and the swelling, it does make my foot feel like it's getting tingly and falling asleep, although the swelling has gone down significantly over the course of the weekend. I try not to baby it too much. Converse hooked me up with some brand new classics, and surprised me with the white pair this time. I was going to wear them, but I think I'm actually going to wait until I can fully squat again. Use them as my celebration welcome back to walking and squatting shoe. But in the meantime, I'll stick to the Gorilla Customs. They get the job done for the gym still. I hope. They get the job done for hobbling around, so hopefully the gym as well. I've been incorporating a little bit of the RICE method. Rest, ice, compress, and elevate. It's a famous method, but it's like the chemotherapy of ankle recovery because though it helps you recover and heal, it also makes your ankle really weak. So I've been staying away from the most of it. I've been incorporating little bits of it, and for the most part, I've been trying to keep my ankle strong and utilize it as much as I can while remaining safe. I had to jump back in the gym early because RTN, that new pre-workout we talked about, if any of you miss your 1,3-dimethylamine, this is like one of the only pre-workouts back in the market that still has 1,3-dimethylamine in it, that DMAA. Brand new pre-workout by RTN. A couple of you got it at the same time as me, so this is going to be my first time trying it. It's the first time they've ever had a pre-workout. They're all about protein, their meal replacements and all that, and they've always been 100% quality. It recommends starting with half a scoop. So I'm actually going to do like just less than half a scoop for this first one. Everyone I talked to said it's really, really, really strong. Smells really good. So that's the pump hardcore. I'll let you guys know how that is, but a little less than half a scoop to start off. That's at revolutionarynutrition.com. You can use FWB as a discount code for it if you want to try it out. I'm not sure if it's in the vitamin shop stores yet. So today's goal is to baby the ankle as much as possible and work simply on muscle hypertrophy. Get as many quality reps as I can, not focus on the weight, because the key fundamental to powerlifting is to drive with your feet, and I can't do that obviously, so I'm pushing with my butt and my back only. If you look at my feet, they appear to be in a planted position, but they are not planted at all. They're very limp. You could slide a credit card underneath my foot easily. I'm simply adhering my butt and back to the bench and driving off of that. Had to pause because we got my boy Matt Ogus, LOA here. What's your name? David. David? Yeah. Right on, brother. How long you been watching Matt for?
Oh, fucking 5 months maybe.
Right on, dude. So LOA, you're over here in the Northeast Coast too. So I did about 5 sets of incline total, sticking to 6 to 10 reps roughly. Keeping it nice, slow, and quality since I can't drive for that heavy power weight. So I was still able to go pretty heavy. I went up to 225 in my last set, which you'll see in a second. But the difference is I had to leave my pushing and my power at the door. In other words, 225. I was going to go for a set of 8 reps. But at about 6 reps, it began getting a little heavy, and I would have had to drive with my feet to get the last 2 reps. So instead, I just re-racked it to save my ankle.
shoulder pressing. I obviously can't do standing overhead press, and I really can't even do dumbbell press just because walking, kicking the dumbbells up, and even just planting your feet when you're doing the dumbbell pressing is too risky for my ankle. So this machine is amazing because the seat sits you backwards, so all your center of gravity, your entire weight falls back under your butt. Your feet don't get touched at all. In fact, they have a platform for you to put your feet up on, and you can still utilize shoulder pressing. So we did 5 sets of this. Finally, to end the chest workout, we're doing decline hammer strength pressing. And as you can see, my feet are dead weight. No pressure on my heels at all, just my upper body. I'm adhering my back to the bench, and I'm just pushing off of that. 3 plates aside, nothing too crazy, sets of 12, 3 sets each. That's the whole key here, even on incline press. Next time you do incline press, do it with your feet dangling mid-air, and that's how everything feels. You really got to have that mind-to-muscle connection and be able to drive your back into the bench. So for the final chest exercise, I said the decline was the final chest exercise, but it was the final pressing exercise. This is the final chest exercise. Really simply, we did pec decks, the pec flies. I couldn't do cable. I walked over to the cable machine first, and I realized I really couldn't do that because that you tend to step in when you're doing the cables, and there's no way I would have been able to do it with my ankle at all, whichever ankle it was. If it was the ankle stepping in or it was the ankle holding me back, either one would have hurt. So I did a seated alternative, aka this one, and I did about 4 sets. I want to say about 12 reps. To end triceps, I did about the only exercise I really could do while babying my ankle, and that was dips. And I couldn't really put anything weighted on me because I would have had to walk around with a weight belt on me, and that definitely would have busted my ankle up more. Even free weight stuff, I couldn't really even walk like a bar to a bench to do skull crushers because, again, I can't really put much weight at all on my ankle. So 3 sets of 20 reps of free weight dips did the job perfectly. Subscribe now.